Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dell here. Today, we finally got another 1/100 model kit from SNAA with the Fire Lord. So let's get into it. And as always, I got this kit from Gundamit.com, my go-to place for third-party and independent release kits. And whenever you're over there checking them out, be sure to go in that top left-hand corner and type in supporter code DELL. Whenever you purchase stuff, it just gives me points. So it helps out the channel with no additional cost to you. Well, besides hurting your wallet's feelings by buying more plastic. But thank you, and the link will be in the description. Now let's get back to that review. As always, we're going to get started with the box, and here we are greeted with some nice artwork of the Fire Lord on the front, showing off some of its weapons and fire effects. With some more pictures on the back explaining this kit's particle awakening, along with some more shots on the top and bottom. Overall, a good solid box and quite big.
Hello there.
But now let's pop it open to get to our goodies. Inside, we're going to find a total of 27 runners with the action-based platform, a sheet of wire slide decals, and our manual. And our breakdown of runners is going to be white, teal, injected gold and painted gold, clear blue, light gray, and finally, dark gray for our inner frame. Now getting into the build, I've got to mention that if you want to watch a more in-depth experience, go check out the 4-part livestream on the channel, as I streamed the entire build of the Fire Lord. But of course, we're still going to be talking about it today. So popping open our manual, SNAA wastes no time getting you into the build, as you are instantly greeted with the list of runners and the start of the build. The Fire Lord is your standard building experience, featuring no individual phases of the build, and just has you build each piece in its entirety, and move on to the next. But it does list the runners that you'll need for each part, so that is always nice. This kit features no stickers, which means we have color separated eyes. You have the option of clear blue or gold. The live chat had us go clear blue, but the options are nice. As far as issues with the build, I only had 3 problems to point out. These gold pieces on the cheek were awkward getting in, but once I got them in, they haven't fallen out, so just something to look out for. Secondly, you're going to want to sand the pegs for the arms, so I found them extremely tight and was uncomfortable posing them as they were. Luckily, all the movable joints are in the injected gold, so no need to worry about paint scratching. And lastly, there are these gold parts on the wings of the backpack that were extremely tight getting in, but this seems to be a QC issue, as someone in chat said they had no such issue with theirs, but it's still worth noting. Other than that, the build was super enjoyable with great plastic quality and basically everything is undergated. Overall, a big W for SNAA so far. Now quickly we're going to be taking a look at the overall aesthetics of the Fire Lord, and we're going to find a fairly unique color addition of a teal. We just don't see this color very often with mecha model kits. The primary color is white, accented by that teal, gold, and light gray. The head is a bit of a different design as it doesn't have a V-fin, instead of opting for these 2 gold antenna type parts. Overall a good looking mecha with just enough panel lines and doesn't overdo it. Now into those size comparisons, as the Fire Lord is actually pretty big and you're going to make space for this one up on your shelf. Alright, so the Fire Lord comes in a height of 22 centimeters, or 8.6 inches. And here it is next to the Intergrade RX-78, the Master Grade Gundam Mark II, the Blade King, Martial Emperor, and our last review of the N-Era Thunderbolt. And before we get into them, here's an overall shot of everything included with the Fire Lord. Alright, so as always, we're going to start off here with the hands. We get a pair of closed fist, a pair of finger guns. Where'd it go? Found it. Yeah, get a pair of finger guns. I mean, that's just neat. I won't say no to extra hand options. A pair of more relaxed open hands. A pair of angled weapon holding hands. And I did check. These hands are rough. They use the same kind of attachment as the other 2 in the Emperor series. You know, the Blade King and Martial Emperor. So this kit can use their weapons. A more dynamic spread open hand. some trigger finger hands, and finally, a pair of normal weapon holding hands. Here we have the backpack of the Fire Lord, and this has the same attachment point as the other kits, so you can also use the backpacks interchangeably between the 3 kits. But we can spread these binders like so, and it's going to kind of tough show like this, but you can raise these up all the way like that. And we're just gonna go ahead and grab our Fire Lord here. And we're just going to peg in the back like so. And this backpack's not very big, so you can easily stand with it on. And here we have these 2 sword handles. And while I know the kit's called the Fire Lord, I thought these kind of look like snowflakes. But obviously, you know, we want something to plug into these sword handles, and we get these really vigorous fire blade effect parts. And with this equipped on, it's like about a foot long. I mean, it goes from the bend of my arm out past in the middle of my hand. So these are very long, very cool, but they're light, so you can hold them just fine. And I will say on one of these, it doesn't have the best hold. Yeah, this one right here. So it can come off easily, but it won't fall out. So just something to look out for it on yours. And I said this could just be a QC issue. But whenever these are not being used, we can bring our Fire Lord back over here. And we got these 2 little prongs here on his butt flap. And we just peg those into there like so. And we always like weapon storage around here. Here we have his awesome looking shield. You can attach it here to the back of the arm. You know, your standard, you know, shield attachment. And it has a opening gimmick. Drill some of that inner frame there. And these have some effect parts that we can plug in here around the back for its particle awakening mode. Now that just looks sweet. And besides just having it plugged in the back of the arm, there is another thing we can do with this later, and we'll get to when we get to those parts. We get these 2 smaller handles, and with these included, little blade effect parts. So much more toned down than the big fire swords, and you do get another one, by the way, for each. And when these are not in use, we can get our shield back over here and just plugs in right here. So I want to test something. Can we put them in the other way around? So maybe we can get a cool thing going on here. Yeah, so we do that. Oh no, it won't fit. I was hoping you can kind of do like the Sinaju or Sazbi thing with its shield. Oh wait, we can't. We might be able to get in this way. Yeah, it might just bend a little bit. There we go. Hey, there you go. It would look a lot better if it was turned the other way around, but they won't fit in there like that. But I mean, hey, you can get kind of like the shield beam saber effect, so that's cool. Let's just flip back these around the way they're supposed to go. They do hold in better that way. Come on, man. There we go. Yeah, that big snap. Yeah. Here we have what I like to think of its main weapons is this really cool looking lance. I do notice that these are not the best fit in there, these little blue effect parts. Sometimes like to come out. But when you're not messing with them, they don't fall out. So whenever you're fidgeting around with it, do they pose an issue. And you get this extra, more vigorous looking handle. And there's a couple things we can do with this. And the first one is you can come over here, take that off. Oh, see, look, there it goes, pops off. But anyway, we can take this. No! Stop it. Why can't you just stay in your home? But yeah. So you can kind of upgrade like the standard lance with this extra cool little handle. This looks very neat. Or we get... Oh, come on, get on there. Hold on. I gotta figure it out. This has to be down on here first. And then we can plug this in. At least, why? This literally was not a problem whenever I streamed it, by the way. It's like a video exclusive. So cool. There we go. Okay. Just had to get a little rough with it. But you have this cool fire lance effect part. And you'll notice there's a little peg here on the effect part down towards the hilt. And we'll get into that in a little bit when we cover... There's another part in here that's also used for the shield and then this and pretty much any of the weapons. But we can also... Oh, a strong minute. If you're so inclined, you could just do this and just have that. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to. This is a lot cooler, but it's an option. Alright, here we have those parts I was talking about. You have these two mechanical arms with, I mean, ton of movement here. And here on the ends of them, we have a couple different options. So, one, these can hold any of the weapons, just like that. Or we can take this off, and we just have that peg there. And we can use that peg to hold the shield. And we can also take off the handle for equipping to the arm and use that hole as well. So if you want it higher up, we can do the same. So that's a neat little extra. And we can have this. And if we look here, around on the backpack, got these little holes right there. And that's where those are going to plug in. And, you know, while I appreciate these, I feel like they really don't fit the vibe of the kit. These seem a lot more, like, just straight mechanical, while the vibe of the kit is definitely more of a fantasy-based mecha. But, hey, you know, options. Always nice. It's really hard to complain about that. We're going to get this put on here. That's a tight fit. I want to take it off. I'm just going to take the backpack off. Yeah. Let's just do that. There we go. Yeah. So it can rotate there. You can bend it up and down there. Tons of articulation here on this arm. So we can get any of those weapons out of the way. And plus, I guess it gives you more of a reason to, you can have all the weapons on them without having to worry about putting the rest in like a Ziploc bag or something. So, it's neat. Hey, it's post-recording Dell here, and I forgot to mention, even though I pointed it out beforehand, because, you know, I am so smart, the mechanical arms, when you peg into the shield, you can also use that to plug into the effect part on the fire lance. Yeah, good job me. Alright, up next is going to be the Particle Awakening mode. So for starters, we're going to have these pieces right here that can plug into the back of the feet, like so. And something I've realized about these parts is that it gives them a bit more area here on the bottom of his feet, so it makes them easier to stand up. That's always nice. Here in his knees, I think, yeah, these right here will go into his knees. like so. Let me fact check myself. I've only done this once so far. Yeah, that's correct. And then next we have these little arm panels here on the arms we'll need to take off. And that's where we'll plug these ones in. Like so. And I should note that if you are using the shield on the arm, this will not fit. You have to have this off in order to have the shield on the arm. Up next we have these ones for plugging into the shoulders, like so. And then if we come around here on the back of the head, got this little armor part here that we can take off and plug that in there. Or his little fire ponytail. Then next we have the backpack. Oh, almost forgot. I keep forgetting that these parts are on the shoulder, not the backpack. We can take these, and they just slide into there. Very nice fit, actually. Like that. And then we could take those and turn them up, because that's just what it shows in the manual. You don't necessarily have to have these up, but I think it looks cool with these up. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's sick. Now we have the backpack. And you want to keep this in the binders down position like that. And we have our cape. And we just slide it up into there. And you want to catch. That was the wrong way around, maybe. Nope, had this one. This is the one I find to be the trickiest. There we go. Getting her just like that. And you have his fire cape. And we'll just reattach that. And as you can see, he can still stand everything on, and there you go. There's the Fire Lord's Particle Awakening form, and this is how you're going to have it displayed. Let's be real. This is awesome. Heck yeah. Up next here we have the action base, and this is the same action base you would have seen with the Blade King and the Martial Emperor. So, you know, you got your lockable part up here. You can get that unloosed to move up and down here. That back. But something they finally did is have the connection point on the backpack. So we literally just see if we can move, get his head out of the way, get this up out of the way, and see there's a peg up there on the backpack. This is really hard to show. Hold on a minute. Yeah, there we go. Max zoom out. And it just plugs in to there. And I like it better when it's plugged in the backpack, 'cause I feel like it interferes with posing the least. It supports the weight better. And it's just my preferred way of how Action Base is installed. Both the Blade King and the Martial Emperor have it plugged into the back of the model kit itself and not the backpack. And the Martial Emperor has a pretty heavy backpack, so I'm glad they're finally plugging into the backpack. How many times can I say backpack? But yeah, you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So yeah, definitely one of my best upgrades to this kit over the rest. Alright guys, pardon for all the mess here, but here we are covering the water slides. And I mainly just did ones down here on the action base, because, you know, those are cool. And then I did mainly just upper body water slides, so I didn't want to go too crazy on them. Water slide qualities are okay. I found they're a little bit fragile once they start to dry. Just like any little bit they start to dry, it's like rip. So, I mean, overall, better than Bandai's water slides, but still err on the side of caution when applying these. And we're moving right along to the articulation of the Fire Lord. Of course, we're going to start here with his head, which you got a ton of head movement. We got a really good ab crunch and a good side to side. And he can rotate there at the waist. We get a full 360 here at the arm. Shoulders can move up independently, which lets us get our arm up, like so. Of course, we can rotate the arm, and we get a double jointed elbow. And we'll see here. Let me get a hand real quick. So if you plug the hand in here, which, you know, is just going to be a peg, it'll give you more leverage. We got a pretty good wrist joint here. And we can pull out the arm like a good ways. We get a butterfly joint all the way back, all the way forward. We can even pull out the front skirting here to move that up and out of the way. We got these side skirts on a ball joint, and they can pull out the back here. Leave those right there. We come around back. These little parts here on the back of the arms are on a ball joint, so we can move them any which way you need them to. The butt flap here is also on a ball joint, so we can just move that up out of the way and so we need to see fit. And it can also pull out here to get it out of the way for any kind of pose you'd want to do. Normally you can get the leg up about 90 degrees, but if we come down here and we take off this and we undo that, we can unlock that drop down hip joint. Oh, come on. So there's a piece in here that's a bit difficult. I can pull that out. Come on, man, you're making me look silly. Oh. See here, because there's this golden piece here. And normally you can just move that out of the way. And it frees up the drop down hip. Oh. Well, there we go. It's snug. But anyway, that will free up so you can get the leg up much further. And we can bend that leg for a little bit of armor separation. We'll get that back up in the normal place so we can get the leg out horizontally. You also get a rotation here at the leg, and it can go back that far. But like I said, we pull that butt plate out, and we can just move it up out of the way. I mean, really, the leg could go back about that far. Moving down here to the foot, we can. Oh, that fell apart. There we go. Well, we can move this right here on the front. Can slide these parts up and down. Got a independent ankle. And these are not wanting to stay together. There we go. We can, of course, bend that toe down a little bit. Bend it up. And my little toe came off, but there is some independent little toe articulation here. And of course we get a really one could say I should just cut this when it's all put back together, but no, we keep it real. But yeah, pretty decent ankle pivot. So minus the fact that he's missing a leg right now, during posting during the stream, I didn't have this issue. It was being particularly stubborn for me. But we can just fix that back up just like so. And we're going to plug his leg back in. And there you go. Good as new. Nothing ever happened. But to be fair, for the level of parts that we had to come off, not that high. So definitely not my worst. I say we should make a compilation about how many parts I've had fall off during our articulation segments. But yeah, really good articulation. This guy with a little bit of part shedding. A little bit. Alright, we are once again coming to the end of the review. Shout out to those who made it to this point, but what do I think about the Fire Lord? Oh yeah, it's a must-buy. This is my favorite of SNAA's 1/100 series of model kits, and it's definitely an improvement over the Blade King and Martial Emperor. With no complaints other than those 3 I mentioned in the build segment, this is an absolute W for SNAA in my book. I think it's a pretty good deal for the amount of plastic you get in the box, and that teal really makes this kit pop, not to mention all those fire effects, and this is sure to draw eyes to it while it chills out on your shelf. But let me know in the down in the description what you think if you're going to be picking this one up for yourself. I know there's a lot of hype around this kit when I was live streaming the build, and pay attention to the channel as I will be basically probably live streaming every single build I do on this channel. So I'm really excited about that. Getting engaged with all you guys like directly is awesome. But yeah, definitely pick this one up if it seems up your alley. I definitely would not want to miss this one. And you know, I can't stress this enough. I appreciate every single one of you. And until next time, all you guys be sure to take care.